Welcome to the first episode of Fleurieu Footy podcast. I just want to, before we get started, recognise that this podcast was recorded on Ramajiri land. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. You're probably asking, what is this podcast about? That's a good question. We're going to try and do discussions, questions, opinions and quizzes. We're going to try and give you updates regarding the Great Southern Football League competition from Junior Colts to A grade and women's footy. We will try to cover all grades and have players, coaches, umpires and volunteers as guests on our podcast. We believe the GSFL is a fantastic product which we would like to share through our podcast and try to create a greater interest in the league and its amazing players, coaches, umpires and volunteers. You might also be asking, who am I? Okay, so my name is Stephen Costello and I've been involved in the GSFL for about 25 years as a coach and an administrator, mostly at Gould Port Elliot, but now at Encounter Bay. Started way back in the 90s, 98, 99, as an assistant coach with Gould under a friend of mine called Fleurieu, and then later Adrian Setri. The club then became the Saints, I think in 2001, and I became senior coach in 2001 for 1 year. Then due to a young family and work commitments, I left footy altogether for about 8 years. I came back under the request from the late Mick McKinlay as junior coordinator in 2008. The club had changed to the Gould Port Elliot Magpies, and over the following years I took on various administration and coaching roles. In 2016, as a family, we moved to Encounter Bay for numerous reasons. Also that year, I was diagnosed with a terminal disease called multiple myeloma, which is a red blood cell cancer. It has been an everyday battle since then, and it will be. To date, we're going okay, but it will continue to be a day-by-day battle. So just stay tuned with that. However, I have a passion for the game of footy and I love and feel the vibe of the Great Southern competition and its community. So I'm just trying to give something back to the game that has given so much to me, such as lifelong friends and memories, which I'll cherish forever. So I hope you enjoy our show and we'll get straight into the results for last week's A-grade game. So if we have a look at the A grade, around 10, Wollonga defeated Mount Compass 76-68. The best players for Wollonga: Brett Magel, Brad Haskett, Danny Irvine, Harrison Mills, Scott Brown. Best players for Mount Compass: Ziggy Vitkunis, Tom Vitkunis, Tom Pinion, Corey Grove, Sam Hannaford, Adam Hunter. Major goal kickers: Brad Haskett for Wollonga kicked 4, and Ziggy Vitkunis for Mount Compass kicked 3, and Josh Davis kicked 2. Next game, McLaren versus Maiponga. So McLaren 122 to Maiponga 57. Pretty convincing win for McLaren. Best players: James Grimley, Brett Ellis, Kiefer Zohar, Todd Mackay, Daniel Marr, Lachlan Matthews. Best players for Maiponga: Kane Spinks, Ben Kennedy, Matthew Flinton, Jake Spinks, Levi Proud and Liam Partridge. Brett Ellis kicked 3 for McLaren and James Grimley kicked 6. Joel Charla kicked 3 and Luke Mitten kicked 2, whereas Matthew Flintham kicked 3 for Maiponga and he was the major goal kicker. So Encounter Bay played Yankalullah And the score there in Encounter Bay, 154 to Yankalullah 31. Best players for Encounter Bay, Tyson Neal, James Brown, Callum Tonkin, Bradley Kruger, Nicholas Marshall and Jack Crispin. And for Yankalullah, Aidan Duke, Mason Linky, Jack Fitzgerald, Joel Kay and Angus Weir. Major goal kickers, Nicholas Marshall kicked 7 and so did Tyson Neal for Encounter Bay. Jake Tarker kicked a couple and Mitchell Davis kicked a couple and so did James Brown. And major goal kicker for Yankalullah was Aidan Duke with 2. Gould Port Elliot versus Strathalbyn. Strathalbyn went out pretty good victors, 134 to 62. Good effort from Gould Port Elliot. Best players for Strathalbyn, Tom Redden, Mitchell Godfrey, Richard O'Grady, Ben Simmons, Riley Clamp, Jacob Wright. And the best players for Gould Port Elliot, Fred Nissen, Jesse Bates, William Nord, Daniel Fry, Charlie Steele, Oscar McCann. Major goal kickers for Strath was Riley Clamp kicked 5 and Ben Simmons kicked 7 and Mitchell Godfrey kicked 2. And for Gould Port Elliot, Jesse Bates kicked 2. He was the multiple goal kicker for them. And we look at the last game, which was Langhorne Creek versus Victor Harbour. Pretty tight contest, 6 points in it. And Victor Harbour beat Langhorne Creek 80 to 74. Best players for Victor, Jackson Elms, Ben Yeomans, Reece Bartram, Jesse McKinnon, Harry Vincent and Zach Dowling. Best players for Langhorne Creek, Darcy Clifford, Kobe Hellier, Matt Tonkin, Caleb Howell, Matt Dominish, Scott Tonkin. Major goal kickers for Victor, Jackson Elms kicked 3. James Mulhern kicked 2. Sam Basham kicked 2. And for Langhorne Creek, Kobe Hellier kicked 2. Josh Tote kicked 2. So they were the multiple goal kickers. If we look at the A-grade Premiership ladder, McLaren on top, undefeated. Second, Wollonga. Third, Maiponga. Fourth, Encounter Bay. Fifth, Strath. Sixth, Victor. Seventh is Langhorne. Eighth is Mount Compass. Ninth is Yank. And 10th is Goolwa. And I reckon that fifth spot could be up for grabs between Strath, Victor, Langhorne, Compass. So you want to be on your best each week. Let's have a quick look at the goal kickers for A grade after round 10. You've got James Grimley on 36, Ben Simmons on 34, Sam Basham on 30, Nick Marshall on 30, Jake Tarker on 28, and Hassan Ahmad Watkins on 26, and Tyson Neal on 25. So a few pretty good goal kickers there. We'll get into the B grade and have a look at their results. Let's go to the B grade or reserves. So after round 10, Wollonga played Compass. Wollonga 138 to Compass 3. Best place for Wollonga, Josh Dawson, Jack Webb, Sean Gale, Tom Messenger, Matthew Milne and Jared Pike. Best players for Compass, Reece Evans, Dylan Way, John O'Chaplin, Matt Schultz, Nicholas Soulsby, Jared Tilby. Goal kickers for Wollonga, Andrew Pahura 2, Josh Dawson 2, Benjamin Watts 2, Troy Pike 3, and Jared Pike 2. And no goal scorers for Compass, unfortunately. Next game was McLaren versus Maiponga. McLaren 52, Maiponga 39. Best players for McLaren, Billy Charler, Gian Cogno, Heath Lambert, Luke Goodison, Max Gill, Bryson Brown. And for Maiponga, Wade Hutchinson, Ryan Mays, Mark Pulse, Daniel Dyack, Sean Haverty and Daniel McCrow. Multiple goal kickers, you've got Jacob Hill from McLaren with 2. And then for Maiponga, you had Mark Pulse kick 2. So not many goal kickers, pretty low scoring game, 52 to 39. The next game, Encounter Bay versus Yankalullah. Encounter Bay 103, Yankalullah 44. Best players, Encounter Bay, John Morris, Blake Bailey, Brodie Neeson, Ollie Price, Tate Walker and Griffin Clark. For Yankalullah, Benjamin Shute, Lachlan Duke, Aaron Smith, Cohen Major, Zach Johnson and Nicholas Bond. Goal kickers for Encounter Bay, Blake Bailey kicked 8 and Jed Davis kicked 2. And for Yankalullah, Ben Crowan kicked 2 and Cohen Major kicked 2. So well done, Blake Bailey. 8 goals is a pretty good effort there. Gould Port Elliot versus Strath. Strath won that game 97-16. Best players for Strath was Jackson Machin, Ben Schultz, Nathan Clark, Max Barnes, Brett Abbott and Ashley Weckett. For Gore, it was Jared Madden, Damien Dowsard, Cameron Steele, Max English, Thomas Evans and Trent Griffin. Multiple goal kickers for Strath. Ashley Weckett got 3. Harry Simmons got 4. And for Gould Port Elliot, they had a couple of single goal kickers, Trent Griffin and Jesse Consalvo. And the last game is Langham Creek versus Victor Harbour. Langham Creek 53 defeated Victor Harbour 39. Best players for Creek, Thomas Knight, Damien James, Jake Yard, Clem Miller, Adam Toke. And for Victor Harbour, Simon Donaldson, Harrison Medlin, Harrison Grenfell, Aaron Bilecki, Logan Schultz and Alan Tira. Goal kickers for the Creek, it had Daniel Kropp kicked 2, Graydon Brand kicked 2, Daniel Cross kicked 2. And for Victor Harbour, Kenny Sumner kicked 2 and Noel Williams kicked 2. So that's the B grade results from last Saturday. If we look at the ladder, on top is Encounter Bay, second is Wollonga, third is Maiponga, fourth Langham Creek, fifth is McLaren. And there is possibly an opportunity for Victor and Strath probably to try and get into that fifth spot, but it's pretty tight. Let's just have a look at the goal kickers, leading goal kickers for the B grade. And we've got, according to my details after round 10, we've got Blake Bailey from Encounter Bay on 24, Ben Hutchinson from Maiponga on 23, Graydon Brand from Langon on 19, Thomas Grundy from Maiponga on 16, and Jacob McDonald from Wollonga on 15. So we'll go right into the Senior Colts and have a look at their results. So the Senior Colts round 10. So Wollonga defeated Mount Compass, tight game 63-61. Best players for Wollonga, Seb Howick, Elliot Smith, Jackson Hams, Riley Bennett, Keely Daniel and Angus Logan. And for Mount Compass, Harrison Oster, Lockie Nash, Riley Endersby, Harry Wilcox, Jesse Kells and Darcy Boots. Goal kickers for Wollonga, Zade Edwards kicked 2 and the rest were single goal kickers. And for Compass, we had Jesse Kells kicked 3. So a pretty good effort from Jesse there in a tight game. 63-61 with Wollonga coming out on top. Then we had McLaren Vale versus Maiponga. Maiponga defeated McLaren 56-44, another tight contest. Best players for Maiponga, Jet Thompson, Moses Gray, Jai Dooley, Harrison Smith, Dexter Kenny, Jaden Hines. And for McLaren, Alexander Grimley, Rory Long, Joseph Petruzzi, John Farrant, Lucas Tortorelli and Mark Donaldson. Goal kickers for Maiponga, Dexter Kenny kicked 4 and Joshua Jawado kicked 4. And for McLaren, we've got John Farrant kicked 3 and the rest were singles. So good effort, John Farron. Tight game. Next contest, Encounter Bay versus Yankalullah Tigers, which is also quite tight. 68. Encounter Bay defeated Yank 45. Best players for Encounter Bay: Hamish Lang, Hugo Smith, Tyler McCreenor, Ryan Corby, Connor Hills, and Maxi Collins. And for Yankalullah, Jacob Parsons, Aidan Duke, Max Waters, Cohen Major, Nicholas Ellen, and Cameron Kerr. Goal kickers for Encounter Bay: multiple, Hamish Lang 2, and Ryan Corby kicked 3. And for Yankalullah, Dash Hawley kicked 3, and the rest was single goal kickers. Gould Port Elliot versus Strathalbyn, another tight tussle. Strath defeated Gore 44-35. Best players for Strath: Thomas Welk, Jack Gilbert, Harry Hopkins, Max Jenke, Fletcher Duffield, and Jack Wheaton. Jack Gilbert kicked 3 goals for Strath, and Jack Wheaton kicked 2. Whereas Gould Port Elliot, best players: Joel Ratcliffe, Ryan Pearce, Jet Reed, Mitchell Ramsey, Caleb Paulson, and Elijah Coop. And multiple goal kicker for Gould Port Elliot is Kai Awaya. He kicked 2. And the rest were single goal kickers for Gould Port Elliot. In the last game, Langon Creek defeated Victor Harbour 75-33. And if we look at the best players for Langon Creek: Sam Erbsland, Adam Toke, Jackiah Gill, Oliver Back, Bailey Vivian, Samuel McKenzie, and Adam Toke kicked 6, which is a pretty good effort. And Oliver Back kicked 2. And for Victor Harbour, best players: Lincoln Priddle, Brandon Bottroff, Riley DeVito, Anton Katangiri Sumner, Micaiah Whitbourne, and Dylan Wheatra. Lincoln Priddle kicked 2, and he was the only multiple goal kicker. So that was the senior Colts after round 10. And the ladder on top is Encounter Bay from Maiponga Sellicks 2nd, Wollonga 3rd, and Gould Port Elliot are 4th, and Strathalbyn Roosters are 5th, and they've got 1 win more. So it's pretty tight too for 6th and 7th, 5th, 6th and 7th. So we'll keep an interest over that over the next few weeks. And if we just look at goal kicking for the senior Colts: Dexter Kenny from Maiponga Sellicks 29, Josh Gerardo from Maiponga Sellicks 27, Ryan Corby Encounter Bay 23, and Dash Hawley Yankalullah 22, Zade Edwards Wollonga 18. We'll finish off with the Junior Colts and have a look at their results, and then we'll go to our first interview, and we'll come back and we'll do the women's footy. So Junior Colts results after round 10. Wollonga Demons 121 defeated Mount Compass 7. Best players for Wollonga: Gus White, Noah Mulkerrin, Coda Edwards, Levi McGowan, Eddie Last, Jackson Collins. Coda Edwards kicked 2, Rhett Reed kicked 2, Hayden Jonas kicked 2, Levi McGowan kicked 2, Eddie Last kicked 3, and the rest were single goal kickers. The best players for Mount Compass: Ashton Pudney, Sam Oster, Jack Chetwynd, Lachlan Phillips, Joe McHugh, and Hunter Bailey Hill. And there was only 1 goal kicker, and that was Sam Oster for Mount Compass. So a pretty convincing win to Wollonga. The next game was McLaren Vale Junior Colts versus Maiponga Sellicks, and the scores there was Maiponga Sellicks 91 to McLaren 13. Best players for Maiponga: Harper Matthewson, Nathan Siwak, Cody Hines, Jack Brown, Jack Noble. Goal kickers: Jake Holford kicked 2, Cody Hines kicked 3, Jack Brown kicked 2, Jack Noble kicked 4. And then for McLaren, we had Jackson Blacker kick 1 and Nicholas Tanner kick 1. Next game's Encounter Bay versus Yankalullah Tigers. Encounter Bay defeated Yankalullah. Final score, Encounter Bay 106, Yank 7. Best players for Encounter Bay, Taj Reese Hurd Taj, Riley Bastelek, Hudson Brown, Tyler Claver, Riley Wiedenhofer, Oliver Martin. Multiple goal kickers, Fletcher Neal 2, Ethan Burrows 2, Riley Bastelek 2, and Riley Wiedenhofer kicked 5. And for Yankalullah, they had one goal kicker, and his name is Jaden Fernside. Well done, Jaden. And the next game we've got is Gould Port Elliot versus Strath. And the final score there was Goulwa 31 defeated Strath 18. So fairly low scoring, fairly competitive game. Best players for Goulwa, Lenny Hayden, Archer Price, Blake Carter, Connell Reynolds, Patrick Dutchke and Harry Knott. And Archer Price from Gould Port Elliot kicked 3. And then for Strath, the best players, Camilo Brasilotto, Aidan Phillip Sanders, Marshall Field, Mason Stefanowitz-Smith, Hamish Eates, James Shute, and they had a couple of single goal kickers, Noah Weiss and William Littlejohn. So the last game was Victor Harbour versus Langhorne Creek, and Victor Harbour, pretty convincing winners, 71 to Langhorne Creek 1 point. Best players for Victor Harbour, Eli White, Levi D. Stringer, Rory Power, Hayden Thornton, Judd Cleggett and Kobe Turner. Eli White kicked 2 goals and Levi D. Stringer kicked 5 and Blake Voles kicked 2. They were the multiple goal kickers. And obviously there wasn't a goal kicker for Langhorne Creek. If we look at the ladder for the Junior Colts, we've got Maiponga Selix on top, Wollonga 2nd, Encounter Bay 3rd, Strathalbyn 4th, and Victor Harbour 5th. But once again, Gould Port Elliot are 6th. They could quite easily slip into the top 5. So over the next 8 games, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what goes on. Should get pretty exciting there. If we have a look at the junior goal kickers, we've got Cody Hines from Maiponga Selix on 44, Archer Price from Gould Port Elliot on 31, Levi D. Stringer from Victor Harbour on 27, Jake Holford from Maiponga Selix on 20, and Brock Grund from McLaren Vale on 17. So that's pretty well the results for A grade, B grade, senior Colts and junior Colts. We'll go to our first interview and then we'll come back and we'll do the women's results and thank a few people. So we'll do that very shortly. So welcome to Mitch Portlock to Fleurieu Footy Podcast, being our first guest. He is Wollonga's A-grade coach and the reigning Premiership coach, and having a pretty successful season in 2002 after round 10. If you haven't seen any of his games, go to YouTube and have a look. It was Wollonga versus Mount Compass on Saturday, and it was a pretty tough tussle. In the end, it was, about 8 points victory for you guys? Yeah, so just tell us a bit about the game on Saturday, mate.
Very tight and almost a bit of a finals game. The ground was a bit heavy, so looked like a really nice day, but we've had a lot of rain, so it was soft underfoot. Made it a little bit hard for both teams to take the game on really aggressively, but they Compass we struggle with Compass a little bit and have done for quite a while. They're a pretty good side. Their top end is as good, if not the best, in the competition. And Ziggy and Tom and Adam Hunter, they love to play really well against us, which they did, and Ziggy probably played one of the best individual games I can remember guys playing. But it was a good contest. I think probably both sides left a few goals out there. But, luckily for us, we ended up taking the points. To Compass's credit, they're a lot better side than where they sit on the ladder. We've only beaten them by 10 points and 8 points this year, and we sit, I believe, second, and they're 8th. So that probably says a fair bit about the competition as well. But they've been unlucky, I think. Yeah,
they're pretty tough at the stoppages, and in the contested footy, I found they were really good as well. They're ones to watch out for in shaping the 5, I reckon, over the next 7 or 8 games.
Most definitely. Totally agree.
So tell me, mate, what's it like to be the reigning Premiership coach?
It's an interesting one. It's probably that's been and done now. If you'd been able to talk to me in February, it was, it's really, really good. It's the can tell in the pre-season how excited everyone still is from what's happened. And it was a really, really good year. We got lucky at the right time by having most of our squad fit coming into finals, and then a really enjoyable final series, obviously. But it's one of those things, I think, having it being my own club where I played my footy, and then to be able to come in and coach and lose one in 2019 to Langhorns at McLaren, and then lose a prelim to Encounter Bay the following year. It was it's awesome. It was a great feeling, and as I said, to do it at my home club was even more exciting.
Yeah,
bring that Premiership Cup home after 12 pretty long years.
Now, how's your team performing at the moment? Halfway through, association footy's over, round 10's just gone. You had a victory. Do you have many injuries in regards to your A-grade team? And, is there players coming back?
Yeah, we're pretty proud of how we're going, to be fair. We've 8-2, and I haven't seen the amount of turnover week to week like we've had this year. And I don't assume we're not alone. COVID injuries, etc. But we've been severely hampered week to week. So as I say, I'm really proud of the depth and the changes have made it tough, but guys have stepped up and played the roles we needed. And we've been lucky. We've won a couple of close ones and obviously had a big loss to McLaren and a point loss to Langhorne. So really, really happy. Probably still got 7 or 8 that are coming back.
Okay.
That'll be over the next 4 to 5 weeks, though, and we've lost a couple of guys to season-ending injuries. So very, very happy. What I've loved seeing is some guys get opportunities, and they've taken them.
Stepped up.
They look quite settled at A-grade footy. So
very,
very good position to be in, hopefully.
Pretty important.
Hugely important. It's always one of those things, especially through this tough part of the year where it gets a bit colder and injuries pop up, that you've got good depth just to give yourself a chance. Yeah. Double chance is the goal. I can't see anyone catching McLaren in the ones at the moment. They're probably going to finish top with a superior percentage and 2 wins ahead of everybody else. But that top 3 is going to be vital, I think, to get ourselves where we want to go.
So in your side at the moment, who are the players to watch out for from the coach's point of view?
Oh, Cam Hutchins got best on ground in the association game last weekend. He's a premier on baller in the competition, one of the best ones, and he's
up and about.
Fantastic. Oh, he's just really powerful out of the stoppages and breaks lines, and he's a nice kick of the footy. Harry Mills is doing a great job in defence. He's a nice big stopper. Darcy Scott, young guy, has come up, played last year in the back pocket. He's gone up to a wing and sort of rolls anywhere between half back and wing, and he's been superb. Played association last weekend as well.
Yeah,
they're probably the 3. I mean, like all coaches, we love everybody, so I could go through the whole team and tell you, but they're probably the 3 at the moment. The other one actually is Brett Magel, one of the older statesmen, playing around half forward. He's been dynamic. He'd be right up there in our best and fairest at the moment too. Okay,
so any up-and-coming players either coming through the B grade who are quite successful at the moment as well, or the senior Colts that you've got your eye on that might step up to A grade?
At the moment, there's still a couple of guys in the B grade that I'd love to have a look at in the A grade at some point, and I think they'll get a chance in the next couple of weeks, with trying to make sure that guys are able to play the grade that they should be able to come finals time. But we in the B grade, there's a young guy, he's probably mid-20s now, but it's almost like the pennies drop, Jack Webb. He's been going very well and showing good speed and balance across the ground. Jake Shervington in ruck, in the Bs has been doing a great job. He's come of age this year too. He'd be early 20s. The under-17s, we've got some really, really talented kids. Zade Edwards is one that's been sick the last month. I've been trying to get him to come and train with us to give him an opportunity, and he's just not been able to. He's barely getting through under-17 games. So he's been fantastic. And then Tyson Woodcock's got some X factor. He's played some A-grade already this year. And Jake Drury as well as the top age kids that I'm probably looking at, really enjoying what they're doing. But I'd like them to develop at their own speed rather than have to throw them in the deep end unnecessarily.
Okay, so what's your favourite and least favourite football moment in your career? Can be as a player or a coach.
We'll start with the least favourite. It's probably everyone on the Fleurieu probably knows it, so I probably don't need to go through it too long. But obviously, every childhood dream becomes every person's nightmare when it doesn't fall your way. So that would be the worst. The best is any premiership you're involved in. I think it's very different from being a player to being a coach. Very different types of elation or feeling that come with it. As a player, it's that real rush of joy and, we've done it and how good's this. And then you just get to spend 2 days with your best mates, having a great time, telling stories, etc.
Well, not the whole week?
Well, so we've got a couple of them with the whole week. We'd end up on a footy trip the next weekend, but those days are well gone. And as a coach, probably it's more the sense of accomplishment. It's a much bigger job to coach, and you're doing everything for the players rather than as a player. It's more for yourself in the team. So premierships are the greatest, but even just being around the footy club again as they open up and we start to be able to socialise a little bit more, that's been the best part of being involved in footy.
So getting away from the GSFL, who do you support in the AFL?
I'm a long-suffering St Kilda supporter.
Oh, surprising. Well, you would have been suffering on the weekend.
Suffered through Friday night. I was at the boys could tell on Saturday morning that I was pretty grumpy. So they copped a little bit of that. But it was a tough night Friday night, I've got to say. Especially every time I seem to get a little bit excited about how they're going, they consistently let me down. But I'm a Saints fan.
Being a Saints supporter, is your all-time favourite AFL player, VFL player, a Saints player, or is he somebody else?
The reason I started going for them, I was in my early teens, and Robert Harvey was playing for St Kilda, and I just loved. Absolutely, I loved him. His work rate was phenomenal. Couldn't kick that far, but he'd rack them up, and I loved him. So that's what got me going for them. And then probably Lenny Hayes was another one that I loved, and Rewalt. But there's probably those three that are my favourites from St Kilda. That'd probably do it, I think.
Okay, well they're the questions that I had for you. So what we'll do now is we're going to try and make a bit of fun out of this with all people that come on for an interview and do a quiz. It's only 5 questions, and it's related to the AFL, but some of them are quite backdated, some of them quite recent. So we'll roll through some of the questions and see how you go, mate. So the first question for you is, who is the current AFL coach who played junior footy at Mitchell Park?
Junior footy at Mitchell Park. Well, I'd love to say Craig McRae, but I reckon he played at O'Sullivan's Beach.
Go with your gut feel, mate.
I guess, yeah, all right. Well, we'll go with Craig McRae.
Okay, no worries. We'll give you the answers at the end. So we'll go for the next one. Name an AFL team that a former GSFL player plays for.
Collingwood.
And the player?
Kruger and Draper.
Okay. Yep. So the next question. You're on fire, by the way. Who coached the Adelaide Crows from 2016 to 2019?
Don Pike.
Look like I might have to make these a bit harder, mate. Who finished bottom on the ladder in 2009? I just made them harder.
You found your level. Jeez, who finished then? Brisbane Lions.
Okay. So the lucky last. Who won the Brownlow medal in 2014?
Nathan Fife.
Okay, so we'll go through the answers. You got the first three correct. Craig McRae played footy at Mitchell Park when I was there, and he played as a junior. I reckon his brother might have played at O'Sullivan's Beach, but somebody can correct me with that. And I know then he went probably to Glenelg via Mitchell Park.
Yeah, right. So the reason I brought that up is I had 2 years at O'Sullivan's Beach Primary as a kid.
Okay.
And I always remember that Mark Visker and Craig McRae were on the honour board, and then they were down at the bays, and we were all like, "Oh, I can't believe there's guys from our footy club that are over there." So, but it may have been his brother. It was C. McRae, and we all.
No, well, it would have been Craig. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. So he
did play some junior footy at Mitchell Park.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So the second one, which you got right, obviously is Nathan Kruger at Collingwood. Don Pike was correct. Who finished bottom was the Melbourne Demons in 2009. And the 2014 Brownlow medal was won by Matt Prittis. So 3 out of 5 for a start is pretty good, mate.
I'll take it.
Have to be happy with that.
60%.
Well done. Appreciate it. As I said earlier, you can possibly win a voucher from BWS at the end of the year when we finish up. So 3 out of 5 is a pretty good score to start.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Mate, I really appreciate your time being my first guest on Fleurieu Footy Podcast, or FFP as we might start calling it. Maybe we might start talking to you again come finals time. But
hopefully we're still a part of it.
Welcome back to Fleurieu Footy Podcast. We're going to do the women's results from round 10. So we'll do A-grade women, and we've got McLaren Vale Eagles played Mount Compass. The score was McLaren Vale 53 to Mount Compass 3 points. The best players from McLaren Vale were Katie Wish, Ali Bailey, Jessica Vesey, Tiffany Copley, Talita Butke and Layla Rogers. The goal kickers, Sheena Peters kicked 2, and Sally Fuller kicked 2. Lauren Reynolds kicked 2. Best players for Mount Compass, Kiana Russell, Brooke Boali, Carolyn Scott, Amy Vitkunis and Kiara Apidis. Goal kickers for Compass, no one. They kicks 3 points. So a pretty convincing win there to McLaren Vale. Next game was Victor Harbour versus Yankalullah. And Yankalullah won that game 24 to 15. Best players for Yankalullah, Kalisha Rowita Edwards, Talia Parsons, Amelia Bilney, Tara Hutchinson, Kimberly Rowe, and Nara Wright. Goal kickers, Lisa Henley 1, Tara Hutchinson 1, Natasha Hunt 1, and Talia Parsons kicked 1. And for Victor Harbour, best players Courtney Barry, Maya Overall, Allura Kirk, Sky Katanuri Sumner, and Jasmine Bailey. Goal kickers, Courtney Barry kicked 1, and Natasha Fairhurst kicked 1. Third game was Strath versus Gould Port Elliot, and Gould Port Elliot won 22 to 6. Best players for Gould Port Elliot, Lucy Earle, Kalani Bates, Megan Hode, Kaya Angus, Amber McKinlay, and Darini Heeden. Goal kickers, Kalina Bates kicked 2. And for Strath, best players Georgie Pater, Katie Ellers, Tess Huxtable, Heidi Groom, Emma Chapman, and Tessa Grant. And the goal kickers, Lily Jenke kicked 1. So that was the results. So the ladder for the women's A grade at the moment, you've got Wollonga Demons on top, McLaren Vale Eagles second, Gould Port Elliot third, Strath Roosters are fourth, Compass fifth, Yank sixth, and Victor Harbour 7th. So if we look at the next grade, which is the under-17 girls comp, and have a look at the results. So Wollonga played McLaren Vale. Wollonga won 50-1. So the best players for Wollonga: Abby Woodward, Emma Charlton, Ebony Woodward, Holly Ifold, and Lily Rose Garner. And goal kickers: Emily Steele 2, Emma Charlton 1, Rafael Lombardozzi 1, Abby Woodward 4, and unfortunately there wasn't any goal kickers for McLaren, but the best players were Esther Rayner, Lillian Bouge, Mia Hamilton, Kira Harvey, India Roberts, and Molly Jenkins. The next game, Victor versus Yank, and Victor 57 defeated Yank 6. Best players for Victor Harbour: Alyssa Brooke, Lily Harrison, Sophie Liddell, Maya Overall, Madison Din, and Hallie Crow. Goal kickers: Ray Totti Linstew 1, Maya Overall 1, and Madison Din 1, and Lily Harrison kicked 4, and Charlotte Thomas kicked 1. Best players for Yankalullah: Talia Parsons, Zoe Lush, Kalisha Rowita Edwards, Eve Jensen, and Sienna Ball. And unfortunately, I don't have a goal kicker, but it says they kicked a goal. So, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. And the third game is still a pending result. Doesn't look like the results have come through at this stage, so I can't give you an update on that. And it's a bit hard to do the goal kickers when you don't get all the results. So, but at this stage, the goal kickers for the A grade: Sheena Peters, McLaren Vale 14, Sally Fuller, McLaren Vale 13, Courtney Gum, Wollonga 12, Stella Renfrey Peace, Wollonga 11, and Tamara Page, Wollonga 10. And to date, without those results, the under-17 comp: Emma Charlton, Wollonga 21, Emily Steele, Wollonga 17, Mexi Marks, Yankalullah 10, Abby Woodward, Wollonga 10, and Rafael Lombardozzi is on 9. So that's pretty well it for our first program. I'd just like to thank a few of the people that have backed us to get this up and running. Obviously, the Great Southern Footy League with the men and women's competition, but you can see behind me we've got a bit of a sign here. So GBF Clothing Company, Barber Back and Sides, Stork Signs. If I move out of the way, we've got, move the mic, we've got AAA Home Improvements, and obviously the Fleurieu Footy Podcast advertising, and Stork Signs. So, yeah, thanks to all those people. You can see those what's popping as well. Most of those businesses have Facebook pages and websites that you can visit, so don't hesitate to do that and show them some support. So one question that I've got for you that you can also go to our Facebook page and have a bit of a discussion is who you would like to see on this program, and please put a comment or email me. The email is fleuriofootypodcast@gmail.com, and we'll try and organise the best we can for those people to come on. And also, I'm quite prepared to plug a business each week. So if you have a business, or you know somebody that's got a business that wants a bit of free advertising, don't hesitate to give us a bell on the email or on our Facebook page, and we'll see what we can do there. We'll put those questions up. So hope you enjoyed the program. Next week we'll try and do 2 interviews because we won't have as much to go on in regards to the start of the show. So look forward to you tuning in next week. Thanks very much.